This week on Stogie Geeks News, we got news from Leccia Tobacco, Foundation Cigar Company. We got some people news and an FDA update, so stay tuned.
This is a Security Weekly production.
Welcome, everybody, to this edition of Stogie Geeks News for November 18th, 2016. Will Cooper from the library in Studio C with the team up in Rhode Island at the Villiger North American Studios manning the controls, and we have this week's headlines in the cigar industry. Kicking things off, the bad boy, Sam Leccia, announced his new online store this week. Now, with Sam's store, this wasn't really a blockbuster announcement. He's been kind of socializing the fact he's had this online store for a while, but he kind of set the record straight in terms of really what this store is going to stand for, or the purpose of this store. And what he's going to be doing is he is going to be using this pretty much as his distribution arm to consumers and retailers. So what that means is there's going to be a direct-to-consumer outlet where folks can obtain his products. And it's obviously going to be an opportunity for retailers to work through the website as well to obtain his products. So it's kind of a move that, for Sam, it appears he's cutting out the middleman in terms of hiring a sales force or hiring a broker team to do this, and he's going to kind of do this all on his website. Now, in terms of what's going to be carried on the website, there's going to be Sam's core lines will be carried, the Leccia White, the Leccia Black, and the Leccia Luchador. There's going to be two new blends that have already kind of appeared. One of them has already appeared on the website, the Desnudo and the Desnudo Beach. And Desnudo means naked or nude. It's an unbanded, unsorted, uncellowed offering that's in a woven box that's used for bales of Brazilian tobacco. So it's kind of got this kind of rough packaging to it. The Desnudo has a Brazilian Arapiraca wrapper, a Nicaraguan binder, and a filler of Brazilian Mata Fina, Pennsylvania Ligero, and Esteli Ligero. You'll see Desnudo in four sizes: 5x54, 6x52, 6x60, and 7.5x38. Also, the Desnudo Beach, which will probably be of interest to Paul Asadorian, as it's going to be Leccia's first Connecticut shade offering, and there's more details, I think, forthcoming on that. And the website's going to have you'll be able to purchase Leccia gear. You'll be able to purchase cigars from other manufacturers there, and there's even an option for a military drop where if you want to buy something at a discount, you can use the website, and the website will take care of sending it to the armed services personnel overseas. So definitely a interesting move for Sam, and it's his first major, I think, announcement since he departed General earlier this year. Foundation Cigar Company has a new size of the El Huehuenís, and it's a Lancero. Surprise, surprise. So Nick Malone, owner of Foundation Cigar Company, actually at this year's trade show showcased the El Huehuense Lancero. It's a 7.5x40 version of his El Huehuense blend, which is a Nicaraguan puro. El Huehuense was Malillo's first release since forming Foundation Cigar Company in the post-Drew Estate era. And as folks know, Nick Malone had a long tenure at Drew Estate where he was involved with many of the operations there. The packaging from the El Huehuense is going to differ from the rest of the line. It's going to have a special laser-printed image on it, and it's going to come in a 13-count box that's going to have that image on it with a limited of 250 boxes produced. Despite my skepticism of a Lancero, I have smoked this cigar, and you can expect a review on Cigar Coop and Stogie Geeks probably around the early December timeframe, late November. But it was a very good cigar. Actually, I think the size worked very well. So it becomes the sixth size in the El Huehuense line. So if you're a Lancero fan and you're a Nick Malone fan, you're going to want to check this out. In people news, these are a couple stories that have been out for a couple weeks, but we haven't gotten them on Stogie Geeks News. First of all, our friend Robert Rasmussen has been named the new brand manager for Mombacho Cigars. And for folks who know Rob, he comes from the media ranks. He was the original founder of the Robbie Raz Reviews website, and Robbie Raz Reviews eventually moved into Cigar Federation. He also created the Cigar Chats store, but now he's going to be moving into brand management. And his responsibilities are pretty much going to be marketing, design, media communications, and he'll probably act as a brand ambassador at events. A lot of times I think cigar companies miss the boat in communicating with the media. They'll communicate with retailers, but they don't realize that something in the media basically is a way of getting some real good publicity at a very low to no cost. Rob understands media, and I think he's going to do fantastic. And I think it was a great move for a company like Mombacho to bring Rob in. And if you're not familiar with Mombacho, they're most famous for the Tierra Volcan line of cigars. Actually, there was a big announcement a couple weeks ago. Dan Carr, the former president of General Cigars, is back in the industry. General Cigar is back in the industry, and he's landed at Imperial Tobacco Group, where he will be the Imperial Tobacco Group new president, under the ITG Brands president. So ITG Brands is a subsidiary of Imperial Tobacco Group. They're more focused around cigarettes, e-cigarettes, and machine-made cigars. So they're not in the premium space. But what you need to understand is that Imperial Tobacco Group also owns Altus, and that is a premium cigar group under Imperial. So Dan Carr, in a way, has kind of gone to General Cigar's competitor here. And I'm sure that he's probably going to have some knowledge, or he'll probably have some leverage in terms of the premium cigar business that he can influence across there. So I think it was a good move for Imperial Tobacco Group, and it's really good to see Dan back in the industry. As folks may know, Dan was the longtime president of General Cigar since 2010, and last year it was announced he was being removed from that position. So we wish Dan the best of luck in his new opportunity. In our FDA update, this week there was a proposed companion rule to the FDA submission process that was withdrawn. So what happened is, when the FDA regulations were published on August 8th, there was also a companion rule called Refuse to Accept Procedures for Pre-Market Tobacco Product Submissions. It deals with the application process. Basically, what that means is that the FDA can get an application from someone trying to get approval on a tobacco product they're trying to bring to market, and if it was missing a piece of information, or if it was not in English, the FDA could just basically reject it, and you'd have to start the whole process over again. The good news is basically this has been withdrawn, so now it means the FDA is going to look at it and they'll tell you what to fix, basically. This news isn't really big in itself, but it set off a frenzy in the cigar business, the cigar industry this past week, where folks saw the word withdrawn. There was an assumption that it was all the FDA regulations that were withdrawn, and I can tell you that there were legal teams that were called on this. I received calls. Why they would call me, I don't know on that, because really I'm not a legal counsel at all. But it was actually, in my mind, there was never a question. It was a small part of this companion rule that was withdrawn. So we still very much are a regulated industry, and Rudy Giuliani's not going to help save it either. Sorry, guys. So love Rudy, but he's not done anything for us so far. Anyway, that's the headlines for this week on Stogie Geeks News. Be sure to check out the Stogie Geeks show at www.stogiegeeks.com, or Stogie Geeks Shorts at www.stogieshorts.tv. Of course, Cigar Coop for daily news and reviews at www.cigar-coop.com. And this show, Stogie Geeks News at www.stogienews.tv. Thanks, everybody, and have a happy Thanksgiving.